The movie opens with a guide named Jeff is leading two men deep into a dense, mysterious jungle, moving quietly along a narrow river. The deeper they go, the more uneasy the atmosphere feels. The guide warns them. This area is crawling with deadly venomous snakes. And not just that, there are whispers about something far worse. He talks about a legendary creature, the largest anaconda in the world, known as the Crimson Anaconda. But Jeff, he just smirks. He doesn't believe a word of it. Or maybe he just doesn't care. Soon they reach their destination. But right there, things take a sudden turn. The guide demands more money for the return trip. Jeff laughs, almost casually, and tosses him extra cash. And as the greedy guide bends down, in a split second, Jeff strikes. He pulls out a knife, and in one brutal motion, he takes him down. Then, Jeff throws the body, and even the head, into the river, coldly saying he hates people who betray him. And right below the surface, something terrifying moves. The three men continue deeper, eventually arriving at a strange location. There, they notice a bizarre statue, a multi-headed serpent carved in an unsettling way. Jeff pulls out an old map, studying it carefully, and this is where things start to feel real. He says it out loud, this Crimson Anaconda. It's not a myth. Nearby, his companions spot dozens of small snakes crawling around. Instead of backing away, greed takes over. They start stuffing the snakes into their bags, thinking about profit. But Jeff, he's focused on something else entirely. Gun in hand, he moves ahead, alone, hunting something much bigger. Back at the boat, one of the men arrives carrying a bag full of snakes. But suddenly, something beneath the surface feels wrong. Panicking, he turns back toward the jungle. Out of nowhere, a gigantic anaconda strikes, grabbing him by the neck and tightening its grip. Not far away, the second companion freezes mid-step, because right in front of him is that same monstrous anaconda, the one that just took his friend. But then, something disturbing happens. The anaconda spits out the previous body, and instantly lunges again, capturing him too. This time, there's no escape. The creature tightens its grip, crushing him completely. And watching all of this, silently, from a distance, is Jeff, because his goal isn't survival. His goal is capture. He prepares to sedate the creature, carefully aiming, but suddenly the jungle erupts with loud animal cries. The noise distracts the anaconda, and just like that, it disappears back into the wilderness. Then the story shifts. We move to a struggling circus, where chaos and frustration are everywhere. The owner is furious at his performers because the business is falling apart. And then, a man named Balian steps in. He offers a large amount of money. He becomes the new owner of the circus. Turns out, he used to work here 2 years ago, but now, he's completely changed. Rich, influential, almost unrecognizable. His former teammates are shocked. Balian tells them if they want to make real money, they need to come with him to Thailand for a major show. And one by one, they all agree. The next day, the entire group boards a boat. With Baling as the captain, their journey begins. As night falls, something feels off. Balian is in the bathroom, secretly talking on the phone about a delivery. But suddenly, his phone slips from his hand and falls into the water. Soon after, he introduces two more people, Jung and his cousin Wang, who are also lured onto the boat, under the promise of performing in the circus. But that promise might not be real. The next day, their path gets blocked by large wooden crates floating in the river. The captain suggests taking another route, even if it takes longer. But Balian refuses. He pressures them to clear this path, no matter what. So, the captain, with help, plants dynamite on the crates. But what they don't know is, those crates are filled with snakes. The explosion clears the path, but it also sends dozens of snakes flying onto the boat. Chaos erupts instantly. People scream, run, panic. Eventually, using high-pressure water, they manage to wash the snakes away. But Balian, hiding in the bathroom, faces something worse. The ceiling breaks, and snakes fall directly onto him. In pure panic, he jumps into the water and swims to shore. And just when he thinks he's safe, a venomous snake appears in front of him. But suddenly, crush! Jeff steps in, killing the snake instantly. And now, everything starts connecting. Balian brings Jeff back to the boat. Jeff claims he got stranded in this jungle after an accident. But as night approaches, Linnea quietly tells Balian something about Jeff isn't right. But Balian ignores it, because sometimes greed is louder than instinct. Just before sunrise, Jeff approaches the captain with a serious look. He offers him a large amount of money, asking to be taken to a very specific location marked on his map. And instantly, the captain's mood flips. He gets angry, raises his spare gun, and points it straight at Jeff, warning him that if he insists on going there, he won't hesitate to end it right here. Jeff backs off. But a little later, something strange happens. The captain's fishing rod suddenly jerks hard, pulling him off balance. Before he can react, he falls into the water. Morning arrives, and Linnea goes looking for him. That's when she spots Jeff nearby, casually cutting fish and tossing pieces into the water. And beneath the surface, the captain's lifeless body is stuck on a hook. Linnea starts suspecting Jeff, but Jeff calmly brushes it off, saying, "This is the jungle. People disappear all the time." But the truth? He used the captain as bait. Moments later, the jungle erupts again with loud animal cries. Jeff immediately warns everyone. Something dangerous is coming, and deep underwater, a massive massive anaconda moves toward the bait. Suddenly, Jeff's fishing line pulls violently. He looks down and realizes his hook is lodged into the anaconda. But this isn't something you can control. With insane strength, the creature yanks the rod so hard, it snaps. Jeff loses balance and falls straight into the water. For a second, it feels like he's done for. But somehow, he manages to climb back onto the boat. And then, without warning, the giant anaconda launches itself onto the boat. The creature slams onto the deck, and then, in a horrifying moment, it spits out the captain's body right in front of everyone. The anaconda begins attacking, moving fast, striking without hesitation. Everyone runs, hides, screams, just trying to stay alive. Inside the bathroom, Daz and Jaepong think they're safe, but they have no idea the snake is already right beneath them. Daz and Jaepong rush toward the cockpit. Thinking quickly, Daji manages to trap the snake, but the creature fights back hard. During the struggle, fuel spills, and suddenly, flames ignite. Now it's not just the snake, they're trapped in fire too. And right then, as the anaconda breaks free, it gets caught in Jeff's trap. Jeff tries to control it, to capture it alive, but things spiral fast. The fire reaches the dynamite, and boom! A massive explosion tears through the boat. Everyone jumps into the water, swimming desperately toward the shore. As the boat gets completely consumed in flames. Behind them, the fire engulfs everything, including the anaconda. For a moment, it feels like it's over. They make it to land, alive. Balian, however, is frustrated. Their mission is delayed, and money is slipping away. Lenia, on the other hand, finally confronts Jeff, furious at everything that's happened. But Jeff defends himself, saying if they had trusted him, they could have captured the anaconda and become millionaires. And that word, money, catches Balian's attention again. Jeff then reveals something. His own boat is nearby. If they go with him, he can take them to safety. But Lenia refuses immediately. She doesn't trust him. Dio and Jaepong agree with her. But just then, things get worse. A venomous insect has bitten her. And if she doesn't get antibiotics within 2 days, she won't survive. And this is where Jeff regains control. He calmly tells them, those antibiotics are on his boat. Now they have no choice. One by one, they agree to follow him. Through dense jungle, across river paths, they move forward. After some time, they stop near a riverbank to rest. Deli is about to drink water, but Jeff stops her immediately. He warns them, this water contains toxic parasites. If they enter your body, they create an unbearable thirst, forcing a person to drown themselves. Yeah, this jungle doesn't just kill you, it makes you do it yourself. As night falls, they take shelter inside a cave. Jeff studies his map late into the night. Then Bailing approaches him, curious about the anaconda. And this is where Jeff reveals everything. The creature he wants is the Crimson Anaconda, and if they capture it, they'll never have to work again, not even for generations. Bailing takes the bait. Greed wins again. Later that night, chaos hits, but it's just a nightmare. Jung wakes up, shaken, breathing heavily. He looks around and realizes Wang is missing. He rushes outside toward the river and finds Wang drinking water uncontrollably. Something's wrong. Jung tries to stop him, but Wang attacks him, biting him violently. And right there, Jung understands. Wang is infected by those parasites. Before he can react further, an anaconda strikes. It grabs Wang and drags him away into the darkness. The next day, after a long journey, they reach another river crossing. One by one, they step into the water. And then, a massive anaconda bursts out and grabs Jung instantly. He screams, struggles, but it's useless. Lenia rushes to help, but against that kind of strength, she stands no chance. Slowly, the creature crushes him and drags him away. After moving forward carefully, they finally reach Jeff's boat. Without wasting time, Jeff pulls out antibiotics and gives them to Ollie, saving her life. But just as they prepare to leave, Jeff stops them. Because this was never about escape. He was planning all along to capture the Crimson Anaconda, and now it's time to begin. As night falls, Bailing quietly ties up Daz and Jaepong near a trap. At first, Jaepong resists, confused, but then Bailing finally reveals the truth. There was never going to be any circus show. They were brought here to be sold, their organs. At the same time, Jeff has Lenia and Ollie tied up as well. But Ollie stays calm. She talks carefully, slowly gaining Jeff's trust, manipulating him just enough to get herself free. And for a moment, it works. She gets hold of his gun, raises it, ready to shoot. But click, the safety is still on. In the next second, Lenia jumps in and hurls a broken bottle at Jeff. Both of them rush him, trying to grab the weapon. But together, they overpower Jeff, knocking him down. Back near the trap, something massive moves again. Another enormous anaconda suddenly attacks Bailing. There isn't just one. Lenia and Ollie rush to the others. Showing quick thinking, Lenia frees them from the trap. But right then, Jeff is back on his feet. He's awake. He approaches them again, ready to take control. But before he can act, yet another anaconda strikes, grabbing him this time. In the chaos, a shocking realization hits. The bullet fired earlier didn't miss. It hit Ahli. Her condition rapidly worsens, and despite everything, they can't save her. She dies. Morning comes. The remaining three decide to leave using Jeff's boat. But just when it seems like they might finally escape, a sudden shot rings out. Jeff is still alive. A flashback shows what really happened earlier. Jeff had actually cut off the head of that first anaconda to save himself. Now, he takes control again. He captures them, ties them up, and begins setting his final plan into motion. All around the jungle, he stretches sharp metal wires, deadly traps designed so nothing can escape. Then he waits, holding the trap rope, patient, focused. Moments later, snakes begin to appear. Most of them scatter away, but one stays, because this one is different. The Crimson Anaconda has arrived. Without hesitation, it attacks another anaconda, killing it effortlessly. And then, it turns toward the real target. Jeff triggers his trap, and for a moment, it works. The Crimson Anaconda gets caught, but only for a moment, because this isn't a normal creature. With raw, overwhelming strength, it breaks free. Jeff tries again, desperate to stop it, but now the roles have completely reversed. The Crimson Anaconda lunges forward and wraps around him, tight. It crushes him. The man who came here to hunt it is now just another victim. Meanwhile, the others gather whatever courage they have left and manage to free themselves. They start running, escaping deeper into the jungle, but they're not alone. The Crimson Anaconda follows. During the escape, Lenia gets caught in one of Jeff's wire traps, injuring herself badly. Dio reacts instantly. He grabs a long wooden stick and jams it straight into the creature's mouth, forcing it back just enough. Then, Lenia, pushing through the pain, grabs a sharp stick and strikes directly at the anaconda's eye. The creature recoils, thrashing in pain, and that gives them their only chance to run. But it's not over yet, because the Crimson Anaconda finds them again, and this time, it's closer than ever. As it lunges, something unexpected happens. It enters the area filled with Jeff's metal wires, and in one brutal instant, those wires slice through its head. The massive creature collapses. In the final moments, the three of them escape using Jeff's boat, leaving the jungle behind. But as the camera slowly tilts down, we see something unsettling. The Crimson Anaconda is not completely gone. This wasn't the end. It was just the beginning.